welcome back to Salty Sunshine Reality Recap. We're back for another blowout recap. We have so much to cover because we did it almost a month ago. We might have to do more than a month, who knows, depending on how many shows are out. But welcome back, Natalie.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, everyone. I know it's a crazy week. We're on the tail end, so thank God we're over the election period, so everyone can go back to normal life and not getting spam text messages, emails, and phone calls.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That is the silver lining. How are you? What's going on? Anything juicy?
I'm doing good. A lot better than last time. You know, it was post-hurricane madness. I wasn't as caught up.
Yeah, no, you were
as
fine.
I should have been.
No, you were fine. I feel like there's a lot of Let's start with the fact, did you see the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills trailer?
I haven't seen the trailer, but I am I'm so excited for it. I can't even tell you. I've been waiting all year for Beverly Hills.
It was super, they make everything look so dramatic. It's so funny. But it actually is super dramatic, and I feel like it's really sad because Kyle and Dorit are kaputs on the outs. And they used to be so close, and I didn't like that, but it's juicy. Season 19. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Oh.
That's a lot of seasons. Has it been on as long as OC, Beverly Hills? Maybe it's been on that long.
I think OC was the original.
Yeah.
And then or came on first, and then but it's been a while. Crystal's not coming back, you know that.
I didn't know Crystal wasn't coming back, but I'm glad she's not.
So I liked her. I enjoyed her. I thought she was cool. She was annoying in some ways, but who isn't? But so she was not asked to come back. And I know she's not coming back because, do you listen to the Viall Files, the podcast?
Mm-mm.
So he has all the people on there. But Nick Viall, he was on The Bachelor.
Okay.
And now he has a really successful podcast, and he has all these guest stars, and he just opened up a media section on his podcast. And I think Crystal and Cynthia, they have a podcast, so they were promoting it. And she was saying that she wasn't asked back because when they were discussing it, they asked her, what's your storyline going to be? And I guess they thought it was a little boring. So they came up with one for her. And she said, no, I'm not into faking it. And it's that's crazy that the producers would ask her to do something fake on reality TV. And she told everyone. Yeah.
Is it crazy? I mean, I think they do that a lot, and we just don't always know. But her storyline was, I mean, she didn't have much going on. It was kind of
supposed to be reality. That's her life.
I know. But she was a little boring in that sense. So
well, non-dramatic.
Yeah.
But she
vanilla,
was witty.
as you would say. Vanilla.
I like vanilla. It's my favorite flavor.
I like vanilla too, but not for reality TV. I'm give me some chocolate. We got to have at least a little bit of a swirl in there, something. Come on.
I thought she was perfectly fine. She would talk about her brother stuff, her family stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. She was fine.
And I liked Crystal too. I did. I just thought I thought that she wasn't great in the group. She wasn't a great fit is what it was. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But I will say Beverly Hills, I hear that Dorit is going to be you remember Dorit in the beginning of Beverly Hills? She was, I don't know, she was confrontational. She would be yelling at people at parties. I heard that old Dorit is coming back this next season. So it'll be kind of interesting to see.
Yeah. What they're saying, because, her and her husband PK are separated, and they're saying it might be fake. Whatever. I don't think it's fake because that's crazy to fake that, but
I don't either.
She's probably using the anger from whatever's happening there.
Mm-hmm.
She's I'm not taking anyone's crap.
She's been faking it for a few years because she's been hiding the fact, I feel that her and PK have been having problems. And even last season, he was always in England, working. And I think that really they were just separated, and she didn't bring that to light, which is her business. I mean, she doesn't have to, And I think Kyle kind of overshadowed some of that with her marital problems. So this season, we're going to see all that unfold.
I think
it should be interesting.
Too, when you're in a relationship, even with your girlfriends in real life, you're having difficulties, but you don't know or think it's going to lead to a separation. You just think it's like, so why even mention it? Because you don't even know the outcome. So it's like, you don't know the outcome. So then you have to explain it to other people, which it's annoying. So like, you kind of just don't. So I think that's what was happening with her. But yeah, so I just thought, because the Bravo's always saying they don't feed you storylines and it's so real. So for her to say that, that's kind of nuts.
That's very juicy.
Yeah. And then Teddy Mellencamp filed for divorce.
I saw that.
And I'm laughing because everyone's like, we don't care. Everyone's like, we don't care about you. Like, no one cares.
I know. Teddy wants to, I feel like in a way, I'm like, maybe they'll bring her back to Beverly Hills, but I don't know. No. I don't know what happened there. And I don't think people really like her. I think they're bored of her, and they don't, I mean, I know she has the podcast with Tamra, but I just feel like, did you see her obviously on OC when she was hosting? I was like, that's kind of interesting that they had Teddy, but.
Yeah. And then everyone's comments are nothing but negative.
Mm-hmm.
They're just negative. So, okay. So that was that. RHOBH and RHOSLC, I think the reunion's tonight.
Is it tonight? Yeah.
I think so. And it looks juicy.
Yeah, it's going to be good. This is one of the best shows on Bravo right now. I feel like OC is...
I can't stand Tamra, but yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Unpopular opinion, but Tamra is good for the show.
I know
that's unpopular.
She makes me not want to watch it.
Yeah. At times, I feel like she's too much. I do. But I also feel like she knows exactly what she's doing. And if she wasn't on the show, it might be a little boring. But again, that's how I feel.
I like reality. I want to actually see reality. And she's so fake and silly. It's almost like when I watch like bad acting, it's like I don't believe what I'm watching. So then it's not enjoyable for me. Again, my favorite flavor is vanilla. So anyways. Emily rubs me the wrong way sometimes too. I'm just like, she goes from 0 to 100 so fast overnight. I'm like, oh my God, like it's like the Shannon thing. Like she tries to intimidate you because she gets like so overworked that everyone just shuts up. So she pops off on Jen, the reunion I saw in the preview, but going to the show, a few episodes back when Heather, someone told Jen that Heather said that Heather went to the department store and saw the dress that Jen was wearing. Yeah. And she said, well, maybe you shouldn't be spending $2,000 on a dress.
She called one of the girls, right? And said, I just saw this dress and it's $2,000 and Jen was wearing it. And I'm concerned for her. But we all know that's not really what was said, right?
Well, the concern part was silly on Heather's part because no one's going to believe that. But I thought it was silly for Jen to come and confront her about it. It's like, I'm sorry, if I know you're broke and I see that, who is not going to make that comment? I'd be like, yeah, I said it. And aren't you the one that just couldn't pay your back rent?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, it's an innocent gossipy comment. Like, shoot me.
Of course she was going to say that.
That Heather had to defend herself. It's like, that's a normal thought.
I know.
You know.
But she's very sensitive to all that, Jen, because she doesn't have anything. She doesn't have, any money. And she's living with this Ryan guy. And so all of them are just, and I don't think she has a job except for being on Housewives right now. So that's
the yoga studio, which makes no money.
Which makes some money, yeah.
But
I still like Jen at the end of the day. I'm like, girl, do your thing, whatever it is you need to do. But I mean, it's true. Heather is just going to say what she sees. Like, it is what it is. But
I like Jen. Like, I would like to hang out with her. Like, I like her personality. Like, I like her. But I would still have these same thoughts, like, regardless. Like, she is one of those girls that is like, my hands are tied. I can't do anything. It's like, shut up. Like, but I still like her. Ryan, if he makes so much money, why didn't he pay her back rent? Or rent. I don't understand that. If he could buy you a $2,000 dress, why didn't he pay your rent?
Something is weird there. I mean, I know you like Ryan. I'm starting to even like Ryan a little bit with Jen. But I don't
like him. I just don't hate him.
Right. We don't know him well enough, right? It's like, that's how I feel. I'm like, I don't know the situation. What I do know is there's some shady stuff going on, and Jen doesn't understand how he makes his money. And I'm like, girl, you need to understand how your man makes money. This is ridiculous.
Makes money with real estate investment and stuff. Like flipping houses or something.
but she still wasn't able to explain that. Like, she was like, I don't know, he has a lot of extra time and he kind of hangs out at the beach every day. And I'm like, girl, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Well,
So
because that kind of business, just going from experience, because I dated someone that was into commercial real estate and all that stuff, they do have a lot of downtime because those
yeah,
things are like, it's not like you're working all day. It's like you have a few meetings that sporadically, and like it's
yeah.
not. So that makes sense. He also was not acquitted, but like he's not involved in whatever that was that came out of his friends dealing. He's not involved. Like, it has
Didn't
nothing to
they
do with
say that he had, it wasn't acquitted, but he had some kind of autonomy, or not autonomy? What's the word that they, where
immunity.
immunity. He had immunity in it, which I think means that he was involved and maybe gave up some information.
Oh, I
And so
thought they
they
said
gave
they found nothing, that he had nothing to do with it. That he was just a friend.
that. I don't know, but what I was hearing at the last episode was that he had immunity. And so I forget, I think it's going to be Emily that kind of talks about that because she was in law, or she is a lawyer or something like that. And she's trying to say that, that means that he was involved, but he gave up some information. So I think at the reunion, we're going to find a little bit more out about this.
Well,
Should be interesting.
I heard him say this. So Jen was at Watch What Happens Live, and Ryan was in the audience, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
said, "So this is since the show now." So he
Yeah.
said, I'm like, I have nothing to do with it. Like they saw what they had to see, and I have nothing to do with it. So I'm out of
Yeah.
that whole situation. So justice for Ryan, they were saying.
Right. And they were still together then too. I saw that Watch What Happens too. It was,
Mhm.
Jen seemed a little, I mean, she looked gorgeous, but she seemed a little uncomfortable too. I was like, oh my gosh, this should be interesting. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to come out about those two, but we'll find out.
Also, Gina bringing up. So Heather was on Watch What Happens Live one night after the show, and Andy brought up the question, whose house, because Heather sold her house for all that money, whose house do you think is worth the least? And Heather refused to answer, being polite. Andy said, well, I would think it's probably Gina, right? Like, Andy's the one that said that. And Gina
Okay, so
got
he
mad at
brought it
Heather.
up.
And Gina got mad at Heather. I'm like, again, how is Heather at fault? It wasn't her question. She didn't even answer it. And she's like, you didn't defend me. And I'm like, what is there to defend? Your house is the cheapest. And that was Andy's opinion.
It is. They get so offended by things that it's like, well, that's what's going on right now.
That's
Get a bigger
obvious.
house.
It's an obvious thing. I feel like a really juicy part of like the recent episodes is, so Katie, I do not like her. Do you like her?
Katie. I like Katie, but I don't understand why she came so hard for Heather and like wanted to create this drama from day one. I don't understand that.
She not only came for Heather, she lied because there was zero proof. She had no proof. Her saying a text of a guy saying that's not proof. A. B. She never took it back saying I lied. I don't know. Like, it was a lie.
Yeah.
And then she continues, like, she's one of those girls that she acts perfectly normal. So when she is shady as hell, it's hard to be like that girl, whatever, because she acts so normal that it's almost like hard to pin it how shady she is. And then so her daughter was babysitting Emily's kids.
Yep.
And then obviously talking crap about Heather to the kids because Emily's kids are 8. And Emily's like, they've never met Heather. So that to me, I'm like, that has Katie's name written all over it. Like, how gross.
Do you
So
think Emily's kids didn't bring up Heather at all? Do you think that they haven't overheard things, or it's just weird to me because I'm like, why would her daughter make this whole story up? Or I don't know. It just seems so
daughter,
stumped by.
the daughter probably brought up, oh, so you guys know Heather? Oh,
Mhm.
And then maybe the kids are like, whatever they said. But like something, but she's probably the one
that's perpetuating it.
is
Yeah.
the one that brought it up in the first place and then like kind of exaggerated what the kids said. But either way, it's like Katie is so, I don't trust her. She just feels very snaky to me.
Yeah.
I just don't like her. I just don't like her. I thought that was so out of line. And then Jen and Ryan's party for their engagement, the 80s style, I loved. 80s or 90s, I guess. It's like the wedding singer.
Yeah. Yes. Reminded me of, they had like the bad bridesmaids dresses, and yeah, it was cute.
It was so cute. Tamara should not have been invited.
No. Why was Tamara there? I don't understand that.
And then Shannon, and then that guy, Jimmy J, outside.
He had to make an appearance this season. He had to, you know.
So crazy. But when Shannon was like, she does her usual walkout, she got upset and she was going to walk out, but then she ran into Katie's husband. They're like a snaky duo. What was that?
That was so weird. I feel like he was trying to tell her, walk away. And she got so mad at him. And I feel like that shows exactly how Shannon is. She blows everything out of proportion.
He was a little weird with it, though.
He was. No, I agree. I feel like she took what he said the wrong way, and then it just like totally flipped, and it was just him and her going at it when he was like,
she's like, "You want to fight with me? Or what are you trying to fight with me?" He's like, "You're still standing here talking to me." Like,
yeah, because he even said, he was like, well, you probably should just walk away, because he's trying to tell her, like, and then he was like, you know, I care about you, and then she took it the wrong way, and I was like, oh my. And finally he was like, just get out of my face. Like, I can't deal with this anymore.
She's the type of person that you start like a little conflict, like argument talking, and you want to blow your head off. Like, it's like a lot.
The drama all the time. Like, I side with Tamara on that, where I do think that the friendship was just overbearing after a while, where Tamara was like, I have been such a good friend to you, and every day there's a phone call about you being upset about something and blowing something out of proportion. I mean, look at her life, but it's great TV. I mean, we love it. I love me some Shannon.
I don't know. She was on the Viall Files on that podcast, and they were
Shannon was?
Yeah. Shannon was on there, and she was saying like that she'll never film with Alexis again, and her and Tamara aren't friends, but
yeah,
you know, Shannon's one of those. Like, she's fine when she's fine, but then when, like, you never know when it's gonna go really left, and she's out of control. She looks like, you know, they were like, your facelift looks great. Like, she looks like, it was funny though with the reunion preview thing. Everyone in the comments is like, oh my God, they have that HD, like, really, because you could see every crevice, every pore of everyone's face. And I was like, oh my God, it was like uncomfortable to watch. I'm like, I don't need to see so close. I would die if that was me. I'm like, oh my God.
That's awful.
Yes. But we'll talk about that next time. But
I was going to say, I saw something on Heather's face where they posted a picture of her, like when she was outside with Tamara. No, with Shannon. She was outside with Shannon. And, you know, you can see a little bit of like the sagging. And I'm just like, but I mean, she's aging gracefully. I mean, and her husband is a plastic surgeon. So I'm glad that she's somewhat natural.
I'm glad that she's so comfortable in her skin. And I personally, I think she looks better than the other women in that respect, that I don't care. Like, she's obviously older, but she looks great, and she looks more natural, even though she's full of Botox up here. But she's not like trying to lift and snatch everything, which in turn makes you look older for some reason. I don't know why, but like, there's so many examples. Like, everyone on Tama's face in the reunion, oof. Because she had all that, and then her lips are like freshly, like, it looks funny. It just looks funny. So I prefer Heather's look. She looks more youthful to me.
She does. She's just too thin. She's a little too thin, but you know.
What is up with that? She's never been that thin. I know.
I think she's taken a little something. You know, she's older now. She's probably.
But she's very transparent. Because remember, I listened to her podcast, and sometimes she has Terry on, and they talk about all these things, and they call themselves Mr. and Mrs. Guinea Pig because they like to try things and report back, and they'll like do all the work for you. And I feel like she would say it, but I don't think she's on that. I just think she's like not eating or something.
I think she's on it. I think she's on it because you get older and the metabolism slows, and she's used to being so thin. And I think she is. If she is, that's great. Do I think she has to be transparent about it? No, but I
feel like she would be.
I do too, because she does talk about a lot of.
She talks about everything.
Yeah, and I've seen her on other shows with Terry where she's, you know, they're like you said, they're transparent about all that. But I don't know. She just seems maybe she's really stressed too. I don't know. But she just seems so thin.
She seems unhealthily thin, but maybe also sometimes you go through a period of life. Remember, they sold the house and then they're back and forth between this, and maybe she's just like not eating. Maybe her appetite's kind of fizzled with all the stress, and it's like,
Yeah.
something like that. Because I do think she would say if she was, because I don't think she has a problem with that.
Yeah.
But I think that's it for OC. Anything else? Oh, when Jen told off Tamara.
Okay. Yeah, we have to talk about that because
Yes.
that was a great scene. I mean, you have Tamara in the chair getting her hair blown out, no makeup on, and then you have Jen come in with like her perfect abs and she's finding her voice and going off on, Tamara. Although she was a pawn and all that with Shannon, which is kind of sad,
Yeah.
but I'm glad that she told off. I think when Tamara was talking about it, she was saying something along the lines that it had to do with Ryan was involved in something years ago with Shannon Bedore's ex-husband's, like, well, who is it? With David's wife. It was her ex-husband, something like that. So it's like down the line. It had to do with Leslie Bedore's ex-husband, which is David's new ex. And so they were like basically selling what is it? They were selling timeshares out of the country, and then they were collecting HOA fees up front, and the timeshares were not even being built.
Wow.
He was involved in something like that. So her and Shannon were like, we need to look into this, and it wasn't a background check, but that was the story that Tamara told. I don't know if it's true, but it was also too.
The text message said that do a background. So the text message said background check. So for Tamara to be like, I didn't do it. Well, it said it, but maybe she didn't get around to it, or she dropped it, or.
Yeah.
But it's like the blow up. I thought she should have focused more on like just Tamara's behavior in general, because she could blow up at her just because of the way she's treated her. She doesn't need that information for it. It was kind of silly, like Shannon bringing that. It's just, yeah.
I agree.
Don't know.
I know. I'm glad she did. I just thought over that it was stupid. I was like, she shouldn't have got mad about that. That was dumb. But also because she didn't have all the information. And Tamara was like, could you just talk to me about this? Like, I don't know what you're upset about.
I'm just shocked that she ever talked to her after the first time she treated her like garbage on the first season she was on. Like, she was so bad to you. Like, I would never hang out with you again after that. I'd just be like fake highs and stuff, but
yeah.
No.
Like a headband thing after a while, like they're just.
So everyone was like liking Jen's look in that scene. And then Tamara said, well, Tamara divulged that she got a tummy tuck. Like, she can't help herself.
She can't help herself.
She's just so vicious and so nasty to everyone she knows. I don't know how she has any friends. Like,
I know.
It's crazy.
You wonder if like that. And I don't know. She just seems so nasty on the show. I'm like, how can you live with how can you sleep at night? I would feel terrible being like that. And even her friendship with Shannon, I'm like, how can you go through all these years and not like really genuinely care about this person? But I feel like people come on these shows and it just ruins friendships, or, they just end up imploding. I think
she just justifies her actions because she says this is why, and it's like, it's okay, but it's not. And then she's like, she conflates the show with like, this is what they need from us, but we can still be friends. But no.
Yeah.
It's going to end one day. But Teddy Mellencamp, the fact that she's getting divorced, everyone's saying, like, do you think, because Eddie and Teddy Mellencamp's husband are close. So they're like, do you think they're both getting divorced together?
I wonder what happened there. I really do. I'm like, they should bring Teddy back for one season and then, just
Nobody cares.
I know. It's sad. I care. I would like to know. But it's sad for the kids. I'll say that.
And then Alexis's ex-husband, Jim Bellino, I saw something, I forgot where, but he was advising someone. Was it Shannon? He was advising someone to sue Tamara and someone else. It's like the guy's like sue happy. It's like ridiculous. I hate guys like people like that. What do you want to talk about next? Salt Lake City.
Yeah, let's talk Salt Lake.
So much to talk about.
Yes.
The party that Angie threw for her engagement or anniversary stuff. Brittany brings a date. And Whitney and Lisa have their blowout that night. But before all that, Brittany's F-boy shows up uninvited because Whitney's husband texts him and invites him, which makes him a loser.
Mm-hmm.
Who does that? So, and that's not the first time he's messy. I don't know if you remember like all this stuff with Jen Shaw back in the day. Like he was like behind like a fake account and talking shit about people. I don't know if you remember that. Whitney's husband.
Yeah.
Don't like him. I think he's messy. So I think that was so messed up for him to invite.
I do.
It was kind of mean. Like, she's going through hell. How is that funny?
Yeah, I don't understand why she did that. That was messed up.
And Whitney didn't say, like, you shouldn't have done that. She's just like, he's being messy. I don't like that. And then the fact that she, like, talked to him and left her date standing I didn't like that either. Like, what are you doing?
I know.
And everyone's treating him like he's a celebrity. I'm like, stop it.
I know. This is Brittany, right? About Brittany? Okay.
Yes. Brittany needs to get away from that guy. And I hope after this season and when she watches it back, she's like, oh my God, how embarrassing.
I just feel like she's a little bit, what's the word? Like, she is a little bit naive when it comes to the relationship. Maybe not naive, but she seems like I think she thinks that they're more than that they are, her and this guy. Like, I just feel like
the writing's on the wall.
Like, him saying that they're best friends. I mean, he's friend zoned her. It's like, what's going on here? This is not good.
He gaslights her. He breadcrumbs her. She's too. If she was 25, she's too old to be falling for that. Like, she has children. She doesn't. There's no. In other words, she's responsible for what's happening. Like, it's not like
she's a grown woman.
She should have learned already. But yeah, I mean, she even said in her confessional, didn't she, that she kind of sacrifices time with her kids to do. Like, it's like, what are you doing?
And what's the story with her kids? I mean, I am curious to know. I'm wondering if she doesn't have contact with them. Like, maybe there's something going on there because she's alluded to that, but we don't really know the whole story. We haven't seen her kids on the show. So
I've always said, like, I know certain people, and there's certain women, you can have a nice balance. Like, you're there for your kids when necessary, and then you also have other stuff when necessary. But, like, there are people that are more women than mothers to an extreme. Like, their main focus is a guy in their relationship, and everything else is to the wayside. Like, there's no balance. And she probably is that. She's probably, I mean, she's so desperate to find a partner.
Agreed. I think you're right about that. I think she probably throws herself into the relationship, and then the kids just become, and then she probably involves the kids, and it's too much. And so, yeah, I agree with that.
And then she acts like her hands are tied. She has no choice. Like, you have a choice. It might not be a choice you enjoy making, but you have to make it if you want different results. Like, the fact that he's, even when he told her, do you want me to leave? And she's like, well, no. It's like, oh God, he doesn't believe anything you say. No one does. So it's all on you. You have the power. Like, make it happen. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Lisa and Whitney get into it. Whitney coming at Lisa with that accusation. What did she think was going to happen?
Does she really know for sure it was Lisa? Because I feel like she's just looking for something to be upset about.
Obviously not, because it wasn't Lisa. So obviously with Lisa's reaction, it wasn't Lisa. So apparently some, I don't know, some influencer guy told her after the fact, probably. Like, he had told her from before, like, it's somebody that does this or is in the alcohol industry, blah, blah, blah. But then after, he's like, it's definitely not Lisa Barlow. So I think she thought it was her and she ran with it, but there was no, like, proof.
Does anyone else have an alcohol company?
But no, it doesn't have to be on the cast. It could be in, like...
That's true.
In Salt Lake.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Lisa was too dramatic, like, calling her stupid. Like, that was ridiculous. In the middle of a party.
And the husband's getting involved. I'm like, they should not get involved. I feel like, and I know it's hard not to, especially, like, when people are in your face. But it's like, you guys got to walk away and let the women figure it out. Like, just don't.
What is Lisa's husband's name? John?
Yeah, John.
Okay. The producers had a hard-on for John. Because when, after the fight, and he goes to meet up with Whitney's husband, what's his name?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't,
what is his name? I know John, but I'm like, I don't remember the other one. I
I
don't
don't know his
remember his
name.
name.
But when he goes to meet up with him and he can't parallel park like a PUSSY and it's a 5-minute segment, I'm like, you're trying to embarrass this man for real. Like, oh my,
At least it was gonna get out of the car. I'm like, oh my gosh.
any woman, we thought any woman was going to get out of the car. That was so
Because
embarrassing.
girls, I'm like, they will do that kind of stuff to the girls in the show, but I'm like, when John walked out, I was like, oh my god.
And they didn't have to leave that in the show. They did
No.
it on purpose. That was shady. Like the producers are not nice people. Let's be real.
No.
I could have done without that. That was a waste of 5 minutes, but
Yeah.
but when that whole fight between the two guys was so not necessary. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. He was like, you don't go after her. It's like he didn't. He just went like this. Like
He's like, when they're like talking about it at the restaurant, he's like, well, you stepped to her. And I'm like, he was not going to come after your wife. Like, calm down. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. So that was silly, but they seem to have made up and they're fine. But do you think it's true about Whitney buying stuff from Alibaba?
Well, I don't know. I think a lot of that type of stuff goes on. Maybe she bought it and didn't realize, but
I don't think so. I think somebody set it up. I think, in other words, like the other way around. Like maybe she was selling this and they got the picture and made it look like Alibaba sells it or something.
yeah,
I don't think she would do that.
I don't think she would either. I think that, well, I think people, obviously it's a business, so you're trying to get product for, a cheaper price. But I don't know. I hope she wouldn't buy
But
something
she's
like
very woo woo. Like she does the individual art or curated artists, like all that. So I don't think I don't think that's something that would excite her to buy from Alibaba. I think she wants to buy from like local artists, and I don't
Right.
think that's like her thing. So I don't see it. But the fact that she accuses Lisa of doing it, and then when Lisa's like, tell me who told you, and she's like, I'm not going to say it. It's like, I'm sorry. Do not bring up some
No.
crazy story accusing me of some shit and not tell me who said it. Like, if you're not going to say who said it, don't bring it up. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because if we can't get to the bottom of it.
Right. Who's the source of, at least, go from there. At least she can say to Lisa is who told her and who's putting out this information.
Whitney's another one.
Was it one of her friends,
like a business part, I don't know.
Or it was a friend, right? That's not on the show.
Right.
Okay.
But Whitney also drives me crazy because she doesn't know how to have, they're not straight up with things. They kind of like move around with certain things. And it's like, can we just get to the end point and like give the information? So she's like, you're deflecting. And it's like, stop. Just say who it was.
I feel like she has a problem with everyone all the time. And it's like, we got to get over it. She's just always upset about something. I'm over it with her.
I think it's because of that, though, because she doesn't stick to like the facts and she kind of makes something out of nothing. And it's just like at the end, your head's spinning and you're like, I feel like Angie's like that a little.
Yeah. Yeah.
When she argues with Lisa and she's like, you don't think I'm a good friend? It's like, you literally insulted me 5 minutes ago. Like,
yeah,
they're not keeping it real. So it's hard to get anywhere.
Oh, yeah. Angie would drive me nuts. Like, she just kind of goes on and on and on. Yeah. And I just, with those huge glasses on all the time, I'm like,
no, I can't.
Seriously.
And then Whitney telling Bronwyn, Lisa's only friends with her because Bronwyn has something she wants. Like, stuff like that she says. It's like, where did you get that from? It's nonsense. Like, they're just words flowing and it can mean anything. It's like bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, you can't prove that. Like, what? Like, she drives me a little nuts. The way Angie speaks is so not serious. I'm like, I can't take it serious. I'm like, are you joking? Like,
she's something else.
Then Meredith.
Meredith. I don't know if I even like Angie that much. And Meredith, I was thinking with Meredith, I'm like, I don't know if she fits into the group anymore. Like, I doesn't really want to be there. But what were you going to say about Meredith?
Well, Meredith, I agree. Like, I think she fits in. I feel like she definitely is smart because she's a lawyer and she knows how to present information in a way that she's like clean. So she doesn't really have to get into it, but she just kind of leaves it flowing.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. She's had 3 breast reductions.
Yeah, that was interesting. That was an interesting part.
She has a condition, I don't know what the name was, but that her boobs just keep growing. What
I mean, love to have a condition because
is that a thing? Is that real?
even what's her name was saying that. She's like, I would just love to have my breast tissue just keep growing. And I
wouldn't. No, I wouldn't like that. Then it makes you look top heavy.
That's why she's having breast reductions. I mean, good God. It's like, what's going on there?
That's wild. I'm like, is that a thing? I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of it.
But anyways, okay. Well, remember in the beginning of the season, she was Meredith was mad at Whitney because she was selling bath bombs.
Yeah.
Bath salts. She's like, I love the tub. It's like, what?
Like, acts like she owns, like, trademark the bathtub thing. Like, you can't sell bath bombs. You can't take a bath because Meredith likes the bath. I'm like, no. You own bathtubs. You don't own bath bombs. And she's coming at Whitney for that all the time. I'm like,
and Whitney's like, I've been selling them for 3 years. Like, it's not like I just dropped them. Like, oh my gosh, that was funny.
That's one thing women are not that supportive of each other's businesses. Like, we saw that a lot in a lot of the old housewives where, they're always a little catty and jealous, but, they would try to uplift.
Remember Ramona from New York? She would always tell Bethany, "You're not a girl's girl. You don't support women. I support women." You don't remember?
Yes. You're not a girl.
And then when Sonia, remember when Bethany went off on Sonia because Sonia copied the liquor. She copied some with the word skinny in it. Oof.
She was going to, right? Or I don't remember, but
she made Sonia cry.
Yeah. Oh, she came for Sonia. It was bad. I remember those were the good old days of housewives. But yeah, I just don't feel like even with Whitney, I mean, she is annoying, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, Meredith, you cannot keep coming at about the bathing. Like, get over it. I'm just like, what is going on here? I know.
Bethany was on TikTok and she's like, all right, I own it. We were the golden era. There'll never be anyone like us. We get it. You're bored. We get it. You're bored. We get it. She's like going off and I'm like, oh God, this is like a weird video, but okay. But also, I mean, it was fun. The New York cast was fun because other than like the over drinking of Luann and all that, not Luann, Sonia, but Luann was a hoot. Bethany was crazy. What was the girl that Crazy Town, that Crazy Island girl? What was her name?
Oh, what's her name?
Scary Island.
Yes. They brought her back for one of the trips, and I had to say I liked her. Like when she recently came back. What's her name?
You talking about the Peacock show? The
yes,
Bravo Girls Trip.
Yeah, it was a girls trip show. What's her name?
It's like she was off on that too. She's a little off.
No, she is a little off, but I liked her a lot more. I felt like she was more genuine this time. What the heck is her name? It'll me when
Kelly.
when
Ben Simone.
Yes, Ben Simone. Yep.
I call her Scary Island.
Oh my God, she hated Bethany. It was so weird.
But she was so weird with Bethany. Remember, she was like, "I'm here and you're here," in the bar.
And Bethany's like, "Great, okay. Like, we don't have to be friends."
It was entertaining, but there was a lot of hate on that show. It was vicious hate. Like, no one liked it. I'm like, God, I'd like to see people get along. I think that's fun too, though. I think I'm the only one.
No, I feel like we need more of that in Housewives I think because it's been going on for so long that it's kind of like Katie coming into OC and she's like, well, I'm going to call Heather out on this and I'm going to have a storyline. I'm going to secure my spot in this season because I feel like that's what they do. Because sometimes they bring in multiple people and they just never get aired. They just never get picked. So I feel like she did that and it was like, girl, you really don't have any receipts with this. Like you literally just had somebody say yes that she did. And who cares if she brought paparazzi to Disneyland? Does it really matter? I mean,
but she didn't. Again, she would admit it.
Yeah.
There was no proof. I think that was a bold-faced lie. I think she's a liar. But going back to Heather,
Mm.
Remember Monica from last season? The one
Yeah.
that was like behind the secret Instagram account? So, Heather has her lab, her
Yeah, her
her
beauty.
beauty lab. Monica went to her beauty lab to get like
A
lip
bunch.
filler or whatever. It was $2,500 or something. She gave a $400 down payment, and she was going to pay a monthly payment and like a $48 like fee at the beginning, and she didn't pay it. She'd never made a payment.
Yeah.
So Heather sued her.
Yep.
And the judge just ordered her to pay 35,000, something like that, approximately.
I was going to say a lot more than $2,500 because I think she went in multiple times. I think that's what they reported.
No, but what she owed was like like 25 and change, or like around that number, 24, 45, something like that. But because she never paid it, or maybe the bill was over 3,000 because she paid the 400 down payment and then she never paid anything else. So what she owed was 24 something. They're charging her 18% interest or something, and then why she owes so much money is because she has to pay Heather's attorney. It was just $33,000 or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I'm glad. Monica was awful.
But Monica's attorney said they're going to appeal it, so I don't know.
Yeah. They'll probably never see that money. But yeah, I heard about that and I was like, this girl is, yeah. She was something else.
She's the type of person when people are like, she carried the show, she made the show. I'm like, to me, that shows a sickness in the public eye. Like, she's such a disgrace to watch. Like,
yeah.
It's painful. I don't want to watch her. Like, no.
And look what happened. She was not asked back. I mean, yes, it was a good finale because everyone was like, holy crap. But she wasn't asked back on the show. I mean, when you go that low, it's like, you're done. You are done.
What are they going to do? No one wants to hang out with her. She's not anyone's friend. Like, what are they going to do? Exactly.
She burned that bridge. She burned more than the bridge down. I mean, it was bad.
Yep. Bronwyn invites Heather over to reconcile before a trip. What did you think about all the dog poop?
She has dogs, those boxers, which are adorable, but I'm like, no, this is gross. Like, it was so nasty, but that house is, I mean, it needs some work. I know she has a very eclectic style and she loves art and like, that's all fine and good, but I'm like, how long has she been in that house? I feel like it's been a little while and I'm like, you need to kind of get it together.
I think that's like a newer house. Like not years and years. I think they recently moved in. Okay. But again, with the producers, was that really necessary to show the dog shit? Because I think they could have bypassed that. Like, why?
Yeah. But why? I feel like...
How do we know the dog didn't just shit because he's nervous because there's a bunch of cameramen in the house?
I feel like that shit's been there for a while. I'm just going to say...
Really?
I just think it's gross. I mean, I think that's what happens when you have 6 dogs. Can you imagine, Lisa, 6 dogs? I mean, you can't keep up with that.
That sounds like heaven. I mean, hello? I would never leave the house. But, so Heather, I thought, was a little bit bratty. Because Brahma was trying to say, look, I take ownership. It was bitchy. It was whatever. It was gossipy. She's like, that's not sorry. Oh, and she's like, well, do you want to say anything? And she's like, no. She's like...
I think Heather's threatened by Bronwyn. I think Bronwyn's coming in hot this season. She's very opinionated.
Yeah.
To the point she's rubbing Heather the wrong way. Remember when they were in the car having a discussion about Lisa was it Lisa that was with them? I think it was about Angie. And she was and even Heather said, well, she's so opinionated about women that she doesn't know, which is true, but that's what she's there to do. I mean, that's the assignment. You're
she's smart. She has eyes and ears, and she's like, just like she said, Heather was like, why are you always so willing to be like this +2, like the second Miss number 2? Yeah, it's like, that's a big diss, but it's accurate.
Yeah, I think she's threatened by her. I think she feels as smart because Heather is very smart, and that's what she prides herself on. She's the, HBIC of the group, and so I
don't think Heather's that smart. Oh, okay. I'll take that back. I don't know if she's smart. I feel like she's not self-aware whatsoever.
No, but I feel like she's smart. I feel like she's manipulative, and I feel like she's the one that kind of controls the group, and she's, and so I feel like Braun was a threat to her.
She can't get away. She can't get away with what she usually does with Bronwyn. Because Bronwyn's like, "What are you doing?" Like, I see right through it. Totally. Yeah. So That was weird that she walked up and left. That was rude. She should have just been like, yeah, let's squash it, like whatever, and then we'll go on the trip.
Yeah.
And then Bronwyn with her husband. I thought that was such an interesting when they were eating, and he came from out of town, and she was telling him about her daughter, and he's like, you know how I feel, whatever. I thought they were cute. Like they have a nice little, but I mean, again, it was a little clip. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but like the age gap, I feel like when there's such an age gap, especially if the man's older, he tends to talk to the wife like she's his kid. And so when she was talking about it, he's like, you know, he's like, I don't say anything else. We've talked about it enough. Like that would piss me off.
Kind of like an Erica Jane and Tom Girardi situation. We might see coming up later. Yep.
I don't think he's a dick like Tom Girardi. He seems like a perfectly nice guy. And maybe I'm reading into too much of that particular, but when he did that, I got triggered. I was like, oh, father-daughter, I don't like it.
But remember, you're going to be on your best behavior in the beginning when you're filming, and then eventually, you know, things come out. And so, but we'll see. I mean, he might be a great guy. She seems to really love him.
Yeah.
But, you know, because these women will come on these shows and act like everything's fine the first year, and the second season, bam, we're getting divorced, he's having an affair, or yada yada, whatever it is. So,
or like maybe a younger guy, maybe if they were like closer in age, he would do the same thing, but I wouldn't see it that way because they are closer in age. I don't know. I mean, I feel like any man can do that. Women do it, like, but it just felt that way for some reason. But I do think they're cute. When she picks him up from the airport, do you see she wears these that I'm not on board with. She's wearing a mouse costume, a banana, an avocado. What are we doing?
What's on there? Do you think she really does that, or do you think it's for the show? I mean, when I saw it, I was
they
like,
went and filmed at the airport with her in a costume 4 times?
Yeah, because they showed her in like 20 different costumes. I was like, what?
Yeah, you're right. Like, who's filming? Why? Exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, exactly. Who filmed that?
When she is like, maybe she's been taking notes all these years on Housewives, and she's like, I'm getting on the show. And then I always wonder, why do women that have so much, or maybe, you know, that are married to a successful man or have all this money, why do they come on these shows? A lot of times they come on to kind of, you know, make their own money and, you know, forge their own path of whatever it is, of a career, or
they're bored.
Yeah, they're bored. But I just curious. I don't know. Or maybe it's just for the fame, but we're gonna find out more. I think she's a great addition to the cast, and we're gonna find out more this season and next season. So
I did appreciate Bronwyn's husband's take on Brittany and the boyfriend. Like, he was into the gossip.
Mm-hmm.
I love a guy. I don't like when they're too into it, but if it's just you and him, and like I like that he's into the story and he gives his opinion. I like that.
Yeah, we like when the husbands listen. It's like we need a little feedback. Come on now.
I like it. He was totally into the Brittany situation with the F-boy. Going back to real quick, talking about shit. Remember the OC, that whole London trip? It was all about the women taking a shit, and I was actually kind of disgusted.
Oh yeah. The poop pills. Yeah.
Emily taking a shit, Shannon taking a shit, she's crying.
That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Why? It's like, I would be mortified if we're on a party bus and I am having such bad pain, which I'm not saying she wasn't. I just feel like it's so over the top, and she just wants to do an enema. And it's like, Shannon, just suck it up, go on the excursion, and then come back and do your enema later on. I just feel like she made it out to be this whole thing.
Remember when the enema got stuck in her butt in another season?
And her ex-husband had to take it out of her butt. I was like, that's why I got divorced, okay? It's not because of him cheating. Because he had to get an enema out of your butt all the time. Like, this is ridiculous.
That's just oversharing, and I want no part of it. Like, I think a good relationship, you have to have 2 separate bathrooms. Like, it just grosses me out. Like, I don't want to know about your bathroom business. Not a girl, a guy, nobody's. Only my dog.
No. Exactly. The dogs don't count.
Because their poop is cute. They're just babies.
They're your babies. I agree.
But a guy and a girl, like, hunched over, like, ew. Yuck.
how do you like sleep together after that? You don't. Like, I'm like, Shannon, that's why you had a sexless marriage after
And
a
it
while.
was
Like,
so much. Like, Emily, like, I just came back. I gotta go. It's like everyone is like shitting everywhere and they're talking about it in the confessional. I'm like, is this too much shit talk?
no.
Okay.
TMI.
All right. Last thing, New York City. Oh, Southern Charm is coming December 5th.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I saw
December
the 5th. And they looked so good. There's like 1 or 2 new cast members.
new. I saw the trailer for it. Yep.
Woof, it looks good. Real Housewives of New York. Huh?
When is coming back? Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills. Oh, soon, but I don't have the date.
Okay.
So
Maybe just,
New York, you're up to date?
yes. Yep.
Okay, New York, everyone's complaining that it's so boring. I love the show. I mean, it's not like I'm dying to watch it. It's perfectly nice to me. I like them. I like their demeanor. I like the vanilla drama. This is just real people. I enjoy it. People maybe are just too toxic and needing like this hatred and fighting. I like it. You don't like it?
I don't like it.
Really? Okay.
I like a few of the cast members, but I am just not feeling the charisma, the camaraderie. I just don't. That's what it's lacking to me. It's not that I feel like it's just casted wrong. I like Uba because I feel like she's just funny and she like calling the girls pigeons, like stuff like that. I think is hilarious, and that's vanilla. I don't want them screaming and fighting. Like stuff like that. I think is funny. Although I do think she's just starting stupid fights because she's bored. And then I like Brynn. I don't know. There's something about Brynn that I like.
She's my least favorite. I cannot stand her stupid sex talk and her stupid voice and her stupid. I hate it. I'm just like, stop. Oh, you might have to die. I'm like, I can't make it stop. Everything is about sex.
Who's your favorite? Yeah, that I don't love. Who's your favorite on New York?
Erin is my favorite girl.
Okay.
I totally jive with her. I could be her friend. But my favorite couple is Jessel and her husband. They are so funny and awkward, and I love it. They're so cute. Did you see this last episode when they're out to dinner? I loved it.
What's with him in the food? Like, even that one party and he ordered a burrito, and they were like, "Where did you get the burrito?" And he's like, "I literally ordered this." I was like, "This guy and the dumplings and the burrito."
And he wants to take her to some shitty little cafe under a subway. I think he's funny. He's just you can tell he's just being himself. Yeah. He's annoying as a partner because he obviously makes her work too hard to get. I've dated guys like that. It's like, not everything's a joke. Like, can we put it down for a second? Like, take me serious. Like, it's too much work. So he does that and it drives her nuts. But I love her. I think she's funny. I think they're funny together. They obviously need couples counseling.
They need it because the communication is off. But for obvious reasons. I mean, he doesn't want to talk about anything. He wants to eat. The man wants to eat. That's all he cares about. Like,
I think they're funny.
Yeah.
But they're not put on. So it's like watching like a Seinfeld episode. Like, it's just funny.
Right.
But she wants to have another baby with the embryos that they have. He doesn't.
Yeah.
And he was so not serious about it. And she's there on the verge of tears. And he's just like, there's no baby. What's the problem?
That's the difference between men and women, where women are like, my clock is ticking. I have this time, and he's over here eating the dumplings, not giving a crap. He doesn't understand why she's emotional.
But no, they already have the embryo, so there's no clicking. There's no clock.
No, I know that. I just think that I think that she probably is like thinking to herself, now is the time to do it. And
she wants a girl.
And she wants a girl. But I think too, because they had twins, I could imagine that that's so much, like that's a lot to have as your first, set of kids. And so maybe he just is like, I turned off by it. And it's like, well, it's not your first rodeo. And if you have one more, you might as well. They might do it.
He's funny too with like, he talks so much about money and saving money. Even with the therapist talk. She's like, well, you want to go sit on a bench? She's like, well, if it's cheaper, what's the big deal? And they're always but apparently they spend all this money on like where the kids go to school and where they live. Like they obviously live a very expensive lifestyle. So for him to nitpick like the smallest things, it's like so funny because he's so worried about saving a buck, but then he'll fly to Thailand for a burger.
Yeah. I mean, of course he does. He loves food. And did you see the Clueless party? I mean, she, she has a lavish lifestyle. She's doing her different,
Yeah. And I get, not wasting money, but like he acts like he's in the recession and he's like back in the 20s. Like it's kind of funny. But yeah, I love them even though I know they have their issues. I also love the new girls, the lesbian couple, Raquel and Mel. They're very cute. I don't know which was which, Raquel and Mel. So Raquel, the one with the longer hair, and then there's one with shorter hair. I haven't seen the one with the longer hair brings a lot more of her personal life, I feel. And she talks about like she doesn't have a great relationship with like her dad and this and that, or her mom. They're obsessed with their dogs, and they're obsessed with their dogs, and I'm obsessed with the fact that they're obsessed with their dog.
And she was married before too to a man, and she has children, right? And that was kind of interesting when she talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And then her mom doesn't accept like her lifestyle. See, that's interesting. And it's interesting.
I like when people talk. I mean, she's been very like, I know her and I think it was Bryn that they were talking about her life, and she was crying about it and her upbringing, and like that's the kind of stuff I like to see too. A little light to people's past, I think, is interesting.
Yeah, I like them. I like them, that they're a couple. And then Erin and her husband are, little sex bunnies apparently, and he sold their Bitcoin behind her back and she was pissed and
not happy about that.
It's real. It's like real life.
I don't know if Erin's into him. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I just feel like there's a little tension there. Like I feel like I don't know. I sense that with her. I sense something going on there with them.
I do agree that it's different from last season. Mm-hmm. They seem like so like into each other.
Trying hard, and maybe there's something behind the scenes that we don't know. Maybe it'll come out, or maybe they're just going through a rough patch, which a lot of couples go through. So married couples go through that.
There's nothing worse than being with someone and then you start to get the ick and you start to get turned off. Eesh, that's hard.
That's the worst. That usually is the worst when it's in the beginning, because then you realize, oh, I do not like this person. So, but if you've been together for a long time, usually you know them. Usually you do.
Right. So it's hard to fix that because I can't fake it. Like, don't touch. Like, if you give me the ick, like, it's gonna be written all over my face.
Yeah.
Remember the story about Raquel that she said her dad? So she got in touch with her dad. I forgot it's a story, but like later on, as an adult, she contacted him or found him, and she contacted him. And when she called, he's like, "Don't call me." Yeah. And then eventually, like, she told her mom or the sister, someone, and then they got together for Thanksgiving. And when she left, he's like, "Here's a photo. Like, that's it. Don't come back." Like, what? Like, that's crazy.
That's heartbreaking. I can't believe that.
That was crazy.
That was sad.
Yeah. It's like people don't like, I think that's juicy. And then we're in the Hamptons at Erin's house. And did you see them in the grocery store when the eggs were like $9?
Remember, they were like, how much does this cost? And how much does this cost? And then they were naming it. I was like, holy crap. Like, I thought
milk was $8. Like, and they had no clue because they don't do the grocery shopping.
Yeah.
I like it.
And they're in one of those fancy grocery stores too. Like they're probably in a Whole Foods or something like that. But still, I'm like, oh my gosh.
In the Hamptons.
In the Hamptons, yep.
But yeah, I like New York. People don't seem to enjoy it, but I enjoy it.
I think it's hard to come back from the old I think it's hard to start to do the reboot from the old New York. And just, I think reboots in general, it's just hard. And the one thing I will say is they need to get people that are, that really have these inner circles and friend groups. And so I think that's kind of what they had with, like, a good example is Ramona and Sonia. They were so, like, they knew each other for so many years, and they had such this like goofy fun time together. And I loved, like, it wasn't the fighting that I loved. It was them getting drunk and doing turtle time and just being silly and falling on their asses and stuff like that I love seeing. And so
yeah,
I want to see that more with this new season, but I just feel like it's kind of a little bit forced with them. Like they're trying to get, to that point.
I haven't even mentioned her because that's how irrelevant she is. Rebecca Minkoff, they shouldn't have cast her. Like, what is she doing there? You forget she's there. The only thing she said that is remotely like remember me. Like she had a Diva cup and she sneezed and it fell out of her. Like that's all I remember her saying ever. Like she's
I
like
don't
not.
even remember seeing her. Like, I know she's made some appearances, right? Like,
She's always there, but in the background, and like she's insignificant. So yeah,
yeah,
bad call. That's a bad call. And then the other one, the fashion lady with the glasses.
yeah.
Jen?
Sai?
No, the high fashion one.
Oh,
The
yeah,
lesbian.
yeah. Is it Jen? I forget.
I think
Yeah.
it's Jen. She's also forgetful.
Yeah.
Sai?
I think they thought
Huh?
I think they thought she was gonna be Jen was gonna be a good addition. Is that her name?
I don't know. She's like
I feel like we're getting
she's a big deal in the fashion world. Like
she is.
yeah. I forgot her name too. But yeah, I like Sai. I don't have her here because there's not really much to talk about. But
Not much is going on with
I enjoy watching her. Like I enjoy the fashion. They're pretty girls. They dress nice. It's New York. I mean, it's a younger vibe, which I like. I think the old New York was a little too crazy, wackadoo.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I feel like it ran its course, but I like to see that. I want to see more parties. I like to see the fashion. I want to see them go to like more events. Like that's what's really cool about it, because there's so much going on out there. And we saw that a lot in the old New York too. So I just, but times have changed. I also think that they're just not doing events like they used to. Like it's been a whole, we're in a whole other generation now where things are done more online and people, they're not these lavish parties like they used to. They're not throwing events for things that they're launching. They're just doing stuff online. They'll just go and live, and they don't have to throw a huge party. So things have changed too.
I know. I think that's it for what is there any other show?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Not till
Well, we're gonna watch Beverly Hills soon. The Beverly Hills is gonna be crazy, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I can't believe Kyle and Mauricio are getting divorced. Like, remember when she used to tell people, "Don't look my husband's way"? Like, she was so overprotective, and like how that times have changed.
Yeah, I think he's been cheating on her for years, so she finally got fed up with it.
But it's crazy because you never hear, like, you would think someone would leak the information.
Somebody did, like, not that they leaked it, but some of the girls were saying that about Mo for a long time, and I think where there's smoke, there's fire, and so that's where I think they were just very protective of. I think and Kyle still is, like, she still won't stay, and maybe she will this next season. We'll see.
And they definitely work with her Bravo because she's like a favorite and they're close. They like the family and everything. They kind of know. But I think that's it.
Too, right? She's going to be on Kathy Hilton. I think she's going to be making some appearances too.
Oh, well, you saw that Kim went to rehab because they had that issue. That is not surprising though. Like,
no.
I
wonder if they're going to have that. I would love for them to bring Kim back. I mean, just because she's,
I know.
But then it's kind of sad. We'll find out.
I wonder. I probably won't be on the show, but yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff like doesn't go away. Like if you don't really nip it in the bud, but that's sad. See, that's real.
It is.
That's real drama.
That's the stuff people like to see. They horses, they like the alcoholism. I mean, it's sad. It's not very vanilla, but people love it. So
I know. Okay, well, this was so much fun. We covered a lot of stuff. I'm sure we left some stuff out, but what else are you gonna do?
I think we covered most of it.
I think so. So until next time, thank you so much for joining us, Natalie.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.